and welcome to another Warhammer 40,000 Faction Focus. I am joined by Adam Camilleri, victor of the Blood Games, to talk all things Adeptus Custodes. Adam, thanks for joining us.
My great honor to be here for the Emperor, talking about the talents of the Emperor and their 3 brand new detachments.
So how do we think the Emperor's Golden Host will do in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000?
I think it's going to be an interesting journey for the Custodes player base in navigating a lot of the abilities that I think... So the hidden mechanic is an interesting one for Adeptus Custodes players, being one of the units with the highest toughness and durability per model in the game means that some of the applicable buffs that we get from the change to the way cover works and the hidden mechanic apply less to them significantly as it does to things like, say, Eldari models that have toughness 3 with a 5 invulnerable save. These are walking behemoths with 2+ saves, toughness 6, multiple wounds, and a very strong invulnerable save. And so some of the mechanics may apply to them a little bit differently, as in they're less impactful or more impactful. We'll have to wait for that to see. But I'm very excited about some of these new detachments because I think they're giving back a few of the ways to play that have kind of maybe fallen by the wayside by some of the generals who, for the most part of the back end of the edition we're just leaving, we're paying just a lot of Custodian Guard, and I'm very interested to see a lot of diversity back on the table, which I think is going to happen.
Yeah, well, let's dive into the detachments and take a look, and we're going to start off with Might of the Moritoi, which is a Adeptus Custodes vehicle walker leaning detachment. Exactly
right. So Adeptus Custodes walkers will just get +2 movement and +1 advance, +1 to their charge rolls. In addition, they get the armory tag in there as well. I mean, they can't double up on that should it come up later. But just off the cuff, this is already a fantastic ability. +2 move, +1 advance, +1 charge really lets a lot of the walkers get into combat. Plus, got some plastic sculpts for those walkers now.
You've got some lovely new Custodes walkers, haven't you, to put onto the battlefield. So being able to put those on and know that they're going to be working at peak efficiency is great. Obviously, the enhancements and the stratagems in this detachment synchronize with that really well. The first one we're going to look at is Auramite's Sarcophagus. This is a thing that makes your Custodes hit even harder when they charge. Yeah,
so this is, of course, we have a revamped naming for our tank shock stratagem, which is Crushing Impact, and this Custodes Walker will do it for free, for -1 command point.
So effectively free tank shock.
Correct. It is powerful, it is strong, it is good.
And then you've got a bunch of stratagems. The one we're going to look at today is called Prioritized Eradication, and this is a stratagem that works specifically with Telemon Dreadnoughts.
Just the Telemon, the big one himself, one of the best looking walkers in the entire game, one of the best looking walker models as well. What this is doing is just letting your Telemon shoot that much more effectively. It's 1 command point, and regardless of whether you took it with the Storm Cannons, the Arachna Storm Cannons, which will get rapid fire 6, or with the Eastus Accelerator Culverin, which will get rapid fire 2, and of course you could double up, you can have 2 of any one of those. You have 2
so
of
basically, if you get close to the Telemon Dreadnought with all the guns, it's going to mess you up.
It's going to get rough. So the Storm Cannons come with 12 shots each, and so they will go to 18 shots apiece, meaning 36 shots just from the 2 arms. And of course, you'll have the Top Gun as well. Pretty fearsome.
Yeah, that of course also confirming Telemon Dreadnoughts very much a part of the Custodian army in Warhammer 40,000.
It's almost like we wanted to tell them that.
It's like we knew that.
It's like that was important.
Moving on to the next one, the Tharatanoi Hammer Blow. This is all about Terminators.
Indeed. So this will allow Terminator units that made an ingress move, which is the term for arriving from reserve in any form or manner, to reroll their charge rolls. In addition to that, you'll get the Lions tag for this detachment. So this is all just about revamping Terminators, getting them back on the table. And of course, this is a fantastic one, just the same as the Might of the Moritoi is as well, because where these really shine is that you can take your core of strong Custodes units that you know and love, your Custodian Guard squads, your Wardens, your things like that, and then you can just, the ancillary units that you always want to take, or your favorite unit, should that be, some of the Walkers or some of the Terminators, they will just get enhanced for you putting them into your existing force, in addition to having, kind of a subset of rules just for them.
Yeah, so this very much encouraging you to basically take some Terminator squads, deep strike them in, really. So, I mean, you can ingress any way you want, but like deep strike feels like the way to do it, and then try and charge in with that reroll to charge.
Exactly right. And then the enhancement that they've had, which is the Mnemno Locked Shrine Cipher, say that 10 times fast, is for a Custodes Terminator model only. So this is for a character attached to a unit, but they'll make an ingress move on the first turn if they wish.
Yeah, so you can drop in, and then you can try and charge on the first turn, and you'll get a reroll to that charge as well because of the detachment that you've chosen. And then the Hardened Resolve is one of the stratagems that's available to them. basically makes the unit harder to kill, gives them +1 toughness.
Exactly right. Shooting phase or the fight phase. So your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase. A Custodes Terminator unit will just get +1 toughness. They're already toughness 7.
It's pretty tough.
Toughness 8 is we're starting to go into light vehicle territory.
Bolters are going to hurt you on 6s.
Exactly right.
Right. Well, the last of the detachments we've got to look at is actually not the Custodians. It's for Sisters of Silence leaning force. This is Silent Hunters, and there's a bunch of stuff in there that interacts, makes your Sisters of Silence fight better, but also interacts with the hidden rule.
Yes, in addition to that, it allows them to act as a much more robust utility portion of the army. Of course, they're not quite in the harmonious balance of the talons of the Emperor is a fine knife by design by the God Emperor himself. But when a friendly Adeptus Custodes unit is selected to make an advance move, that advance move does not prevent that unit from starting actions. We know how much, or you will soon know how much more significant being able to perform actions are, and then perform actions with flexibility on your utility units is just even that much better. In addition to that, Adeptus Custodes units will have the following ability in addition, which is Ceaseless Vigilance. They will select a unit within an enemy unit that is visible to them within 12 and then add 3 to the detection range of that unit also. So you can do an action, also point at a unit to activate your firepower in the back lines and get them into the thing. So really becoming quite well-rounded.
And this is really useful for Custodes because a lot of your units tend to be quite a lot of points. Sisters of Silence are the exception, so you can put some of those units in basically to score you the points you need to win the game while your Custodian units do the killing.
Well, this is a beautiful thing because a lot of the lists that I've been seeing recently towards the back end of this edition have had 3, sometimes 4 units of Sisters of Silence, being that Witch Seekers, Vigilators, or whatnot. And this just is, if you don't have another, if you don't have a unit of Terminators or a Walker you want to take at the time, you already have these units in your list. This is just adding more and make them better to something you already have. So I think this is an absolute slam dunk. I think it's an absolute win. But sorry, we have more to talk. We're not done yet.
Yeah, I think that the other things that come in this detachment actually lean into the Sisters of Silence doing some of the damage for you. So you've got one of them there, which is Psych Out Grenades, which effectively uses the explosive stratagem.
It's correct. So adds the explosive keyword to the unit, which gives them access to the explosive stratagem, which we would know as grenades. That's the new terminology for the grenade stratagem. And then when they use the grenade stratagem on a psychic unit, you will re-roll to get those 4-ups to do mortal wounds.
And I think that's the only time anywhere in 40k you've been able to re-roll your grenade stratagem.
You have not been able to re-roll it in any other shape or form unless it's a completely different ability or a different name. And so that makes them
very good at doing mortal wounds to psychic units, basically, which is exactly what you'd expect.
100%. 100%.
They've also got a bunch of great stratagems which let the units hit a little bit harder. So one of them there is called Death Song Scythes. This is for a unit of Vigilators. They are the Sisters of Silence with the big 2-handed great swords. And then basically it gives the unit lance, and if you are fighting a Psyker, more attacks.
Exactly right. Plus 1 CP for Lance, so one command point for +1 to wound is already a very good going rate for what you get there. In addition to having the Rider that you will also get +1 attack against Psychic units, this is fantastic.
Yeah. So sort of giving you 2 ways to use this detachment, really. You can either use it to kind of add in utility units into a Custodian army, or you can lean into the Sisters angle and go, actually, I kind of want the Sisters to be doing the damage. I'm going to have a big unit with power blades, and they can chop up most things, really. They're pretty good in combat.
Correct. They're actually quite impressive. Last one we have is Synchronized Inferno for 1 command point. This is for Witch Seekers who carry the Flamers, and your Torrent weapons will get blast.
Yeah, so
this is wild.
So this is really fun. So Torrent, already very good at taking out enemy infantry. You don't have to roll to hit. Generally speaking, you'll get lots of hits because you roll d6 for the number of hits you get. But if you shoot into a big unit and you've got blast 1, you could imagine your 5 or 10 Sisters with Flamers absolutely decimating huge enemy infantry units.
Exactly right. Now, what if I was to pitch to you, because that's the detachments done, but what if I was to pitch to you a world where you took all 3 of these detachments as your army? Because we have 3 to spend, as far as I know. Yeah. And theoretically, we just had an army of Sisters of Silence, predominantly of Sisters of Silence, that portion of Talons of the Emperor, with 1 to 2 powerful Walker units that, get extra move, advance, and charge. One can be a Telemon, so that has the stratagem where it absolutely just decimates your opponent, with 2 units of very powerful Terminator starting in reserve. And then you have a core of units that can advance and do actions all over the table with utmost flexibility, in addition to doing more damage in whichever variety that you take, while having just X Factor and powerful, resilient backbone units in the Terminators and the Walkers. This, I don't know if this was built to all go together, but I can see it.
Well, what a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Cool. Adam, thank you so much for your insight. That was Adeptus Custodes. We will be back very soon with more Warhammer 40,000 faction focus.